What do you make of the vote we had last night and what's going to happen tonight?
Well, the deal had to be voted down. I mean, Geoffrey Cox held it below the waterline by telling the truth, which is nice, isn't it, really? Because the Prime Minister clearly wasn't telling the truth the night before here in Strasbourg when she said we would be able unilaterally to leave the Irish backstop. So yet another massive humiliation for the Prime Minister. I'm delighted that deal didn't go through. It wasn't Brexit. We were actually signing up to a new treaty, in many ways leaving us more impotent than being members of the European Union. So that was the right thing to do, and the Prime Minister has made the most unholy mess of it. Tonight is even more fascinating because let's just remember, 498 MPs voted for Article 50. Article 50 said we leave on the 29th of March with or without a deal, and what you're going to see tonight is MPs going back on their own word. And I have a feeling that today is the day when the public will see Brexit is being betrayed, and they're going to be very angry about that.
Well, there seems to be this idea again that no deal is such a terrible, terrible cliff edge. And yet today, in the last few minutes, the government's announced there'll be no new checks on goods moving from the Republic of Ireland to Northern Ireland in the event of a no-deal Brexit. So nothing to fear there in terms of hard borders. And tariffs on 87% of all of our imports will be free. There will be no tariffs in the event of a no deal. Given that these two things have been announced, is there anything to fear from no deal?
Well, it depends. I mean, is there anything to fear from being an independent, self-governing nation that makes its own laws and controls its own borders? It depends. I mean, if you think we're not good enough to run our own country, then there's lots to fear. And you say, yeah, absolutely. I want to be governed by Juncker and Tusk and Barnier and Verhofstadt and all these gangsters in Brussels. To me, it's an act of liberation. And it's something we should grasp. It's in the current legislation. If we had a proper Prime Minister who believed in the country, she would stick with the legislation that's there, and we would just leave in 16 days' time.
Well, in the event that we don't, in the event that we do get a vote tomorrow night, that'll be the vote tomorrow, on delaying Article 50, the European Union has said that there would have to be a credible justification for delay. It's by no means certain that all 27 member states would agree. It has to be unanimous from them. Of course, we've got the European elections, which start on the 23rd of May, and Jean-Claude Juncker, the European Commission President, has said very clearly, if we are still in the European Union on that date, we will have to hold those elections. You've started your new Brexit party, no doubt with a view towards that. If there is a delay, do you think that delay will mean that Brexit is on hold forever, or do you think that delay will actually hasten a no-deal Brexit?
No, look, I mean, I don't want a delay. I want us to leave. But I'm a realist, and I can see that our political class don't believe in Brexit. They will do whatever they can to frustrate it. So I would say right now there's a 70% chance that the UK contests the European elections, and that'll be the first time that our politicians have actually felt the heat. It's an opportunity for people to tell both the Labour and Conservative parties how they feel about them. I think they may be very surprised by the result, and after that, wow, they'll be pretty reluctant to hold a second referendum, I can tell you.
Well, it's interesting. Of course, Jeremy Corbyn spoke for quite a long time in the House of Commons after that defeat of the meaningful vote too, and yet he made no mention whatsoever of a second referendum.
No, it's a funny one, really, isn't it? But in some ways, Jeremy Corbyn is a bit of an ally of the Brexiteers because he's holding the Labour Party back. The Parliamentary Labour Party is massively pro-EU, and yet there are 5 million Labour voters out there who voted Brexit. Very strange one.
Can I ask you today, though, watching the Prime Minister having to sit side by side with Jean-Claude Juncker on Monday night as he basically humiliated our country once again, there will be no third chances and the like, and losing her voice, having to announce that she can't even basically have control over her own cabinet anymore with a free vote on the no-deal vote tonight. Do you feel sorry for her?
No, absolutely not. This is all of her own making. It's almost as if she wants us to feel sorry for her. I don't want to feel sorry for my leaders. I don't need to like my leaders, but I do need to respect my leaders. And what I see as a British Prime Minister, again and again and again, going back to Brussels, being humiliated by these people, and I think it's a very shaming moment for our nation's history.
Just finally, if you have to put your home on it, are we going to leave the EU? Are we going to do it on the 29th?
I don't think we'll be leaving on the 29th. But I do think we're leaving, and I think what you've seen in the last few weeks is a remarkable coming together out there in the country of people who voted Brexit, but many more who voted Remain, saying we are supposed to be a democracy, not a banana republic. The genie is out of the bottle. We will leave, but I suspect there are more battles to fight.
And have you bought your high-vis yellow jacket yet?
No, one of the reasons that I formed the Brexit Party is because I don't want people to protest and to be violent. I want us to find a democratic means of getting our own back.